I used to work the night shift at a gas station just off Route 17 in Virginia. It was one of those small two-pump stops that stayed open 24/7 for truckers and late-night stragglers. Most nights were dead quiet. Sometimes I wouldn't get a single customer from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Just me, the hum of the overhead lights, and the occasional moth slamming into the glass. This happened in October last year. Around 2:30 a.m. I was in the back storage room, scanning inventory for the manager. We had one of those little bells on the door to let us know when someone comes in, and sure enough, it chimed. I stepped out of the storage room to see who it was, but the store was completely empty. I walked around the aisles, even checked the restroom. Nothing. It wasn't windy outside, and the door doesn't open easily on its own. Weird, but not creepy. I figured maybe I imagined it. About 10 minutes later, I heard a soft tapping on the front glass. I looked up from my seat behind the counter. No one there. I got up, stepped outside, and scanned the lot. Nothing but fog rolling in from the woods across the road. When I stepped back in, I found something lying on the floor, a crumpled-up Polaroid picture. It showed the front of the store, from outside, like someone took the picture standing right where I had been a few minutes ago. The lights were on. You could see the shelves inside. But I was in the picture, sitting behind the counter. The weird part? I hadn't seen or heard anyone walk up close enough to take that. I started getting freaked out, checked the security cameras, and here's where things went full nightmare. The recording showed the door opening on its own, the bell chiming just like I'd heard. But there was nothing, literally nothing, that came through. The cameras had audio, and right before the door opened, there was this horrible static screech that lasted 3 seconds, and then just silence. I called my manager. He didn't answer. I considered calling the police, but what was I going to say? A ghost took a picture of me? I sat behind the counter again and tried to shake it off. That's when I heard it, the sound of heavy breathing. It wasn't coming from outside or the back room. It was coming from the intercom system, the one we used to play music in the store. Someone was breathing directly into the mic. I shut off the sound system immediately. And then, just to twist the knife, the printer at the back started spitting out receipt paper, over and over. I walked over and tore off what it had printed. It wasn't sales data. It was just a sentence typed in bold block letters. I see you when you don't move. I locked myself in the bathroom for the rest of the shift. Called in sick the next day and never went back. My manager texted me asking where I left the picture and the printout. They were gone by morning. Sometimes I still dream about that moment. Sitting behind the counter, smiling at something I couldn't see, while someone stood just outside the glass. I worked the night shift alone at this small pizza place on the edge of town. The kind of place where the delivery guy leaves by 11 p.m. and after that it's just me, the oven, and the flickering neon sign outside. Usually nights were quiet, maybe a phone call here or there and a few walk-ins. But this one night changed everything. It was around 1:30 a.m. The streets outside were empty. The usual city hum was dead silent. I was folding boxes when the phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. Pizza place, I answered, trying to keep my voice cheerful but tired. There was a long pause on the other end, then a whisper. Can you deliver to 37 Elm Street? I frowned. Elm Street was just a few blocks away, a quiet neighborhood where deliveries stopped after midnight. I asked, Are you sure? We usually don't go there this late. The voice, barely audible, said, Please, it's important. I shrugged and grabbed a small pepperoni pizza from the oven, boxed it up, and took the keys. I locked the door behind me and headed out. The air was thick and cold, fog hanging low over the streetlights. I pulled up in front of 37 Elm Street. The house looked abandoned, windows boarded up, paint peeling off. I stood there for a moment, thinking maybe I got the address wrong. Suddenly, the door creaked open just a crack. A pale hand pushed the door wider, and a figure stepped into the dim light. A woman, thin and tall, wearing a faded white dress, with tangled hair and eyes that glinted in the moonlight. Thank you, she whispered. I handed her the pizza, but as soon as she grabbed it, her fingers felt ice cold, way colder than they should be. She smiled, but there was something wrong. Her mouth opened too wide and her eyes darkened like empty pits. I took a step back. "Are you okay?" I asked, heart pounding. She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned forward and whispered in a voice that sounded like wind through dead leaves. "Stay. Don't leave." Before I could react, the door slammed shut and the lock clicked into place. I rattled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. I was trapped. I pulled out my phone, but there was no signal. Then I heard footsteps, slow, dragging, coming from the house. I banged on the door, shouting for help, but the only reply was that chilling whisper again. "Stay. Stay. Forever." I don't remember how long I was there. Minutes? Hours? The fog outside thickened until I couldn't see anything at all. Eventually, the door swung open on its own. I ran, didn't look back. The next day, when I went back to the pizza place, the manager asked why I never made the delivery. I told him I did. I handed it over, but the customer was strange. He said there's no Elm Street on our delivery list after midnight, and that house at 37 Elm hasn't had anyone living there for over a decade. I quit the job that night. I worked the graveyard shift at a roadside motel off I-90 in Montana. We only had 12 rooms, and it was mostly truckers or families passing through. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. One Thursday night, I was alone at the front desk when a man came in. He was tall, thin, and soaking wet, even though it hadn't rained all day. He looked confused. His clothes were too old-fashioned, like something from the 70s. He slid a key onto the counter, one of our motel room keys, the kind with the little plastic tag, room 8. "Need a replacement," he mumbled. I was thrown off. "Sir, where did you get this?" He just kept staring at me, eyes glazed over. His skin was pale and his lips slightly blue. "I forgot something. In the room," he said. Thing is, room 8 had been out of service for over a year. It had water damage from a burst pipe. No one had stayed there since. I asked him to wait while I checked the system. He nodded. I stepped into the back office, but when I returned, not even a minute later, he was gone. No footsteps, no door chime, nothing. The key was still on the counter. I walked down the hallway toward room 8. Against my better judgment, I unlocked it and slowly pushed the door open. The room was dry, clean. It didn't look abandoned at all. No dust. The bed was made, and there was something on the nightstand, a soaked wallet. Inside the wallet was an ID card dated 1979. The man's picture was on it. Same face, same eyes. Name was Charles D. Monroe. I brought the ID to the local sheriff the next morning. He went pale. That man went missing in 1979. Checked into this motel and was never seen again. They opened the room up a week later for inspection. Beneath the floorboards, they found a skeleton, buried under rotten wood and soaked insulation. Dental records confirmed it was Charles. I don't know why he came back. I don't know what he wanted. But ever since that night, room 8's light stays on, even with no power. And every month, like clockwork, the front desk drawer has that key in it again, even though I keep locking it away. I don't work there anymore.